A summer in Greece for three best friends ends when the... A summer in Greece for three best friends ends in the... I picked this up. It's not a word. I'm a little bit embarrassed to say. I don't know why I should be embarrassed. But I'm not gonna lie to you guys. Dreadfully wrong. Yes! That doesn't make any sense. Come on, I love it, I love it. Hi everybody, it's Audrey and welcome back to Chapter and Converse and welcome to a book haul. So, if you guys are new here, thanks for stopping by. I would love to have you back for more, so feel free to hit that subscribe button if that feels like something you guys want to do. And if you are a returning friend, thanks for coming back. So, I, in the not so distant past, posted a baby book haul, which was focused on books that I picked up at Blackwell's. So I will link that for you guys. That is a UK website, which I started to explore after the book depository closing. And I'm pleased to say it's been going spectacularly. So I will link that for you guys. But today I'm not going to re-include those books. Today we're going to talk about a whole bunch of books that I have picked up, thrifted, gifted, purchased for myself in probably the last like 2-ish months. So I posted, the last book haul I posted, full disclosure, I had filmed probably 3 or so weeks before I actually posted it because that's just how things go sometimes. So anyway, it's a bunch of books. We're going to talk about them. I would love to tell you guys that I know what all of these books are about, but I'm not going to lie to you guys. So let's just get into them. The first book I want to talk about, it's just a cover because I'm reading it right now. This is I Didn't Do It by Jamie Lynn Hendricks. So this, I actually pre-ordered this book. It arrived like a week and a half early. Not mad about it. I had been reading the e-arc, the book came, and I'm really enjoying it. I would say maybe I have like 40 or 50 pages left in it. So this takes place at a thriller writer conference called Murder Palooza, which is definitely based on Thriller Fest, and I'm really enjoying it. So we have sort of this best-selling beloved author who gets murdered when the book opens at the conference. And then we have 4 other authors who are at the conference who start getting these weird anonymous messages and become the target of this stalkery Twitter handle who is basically threatening all of them. And they are coming together because who better to solve a mystery than people who write them for a living. So it's definitely great fun. There's just some good like camp to it. If you have been to a writer conference, I think you will see a lot of stuff that you will recognize in it. It's set in New York City, and I'm really just enjoying it so much. So I'm having great fun with it. Book number 1. Okay, next up. So if you guys saw a vlog I posted recently, I swear I'm not here to just like promote other videos that I've done, but you would have heard me talk about Distress Signals by Catherine Ryan Howard. So I made a little bit of a pit stop in my bookstore that day and wasn't looking for anything in particular because I'm not always. I just like to do a little browse through and was really surprised to stumble upon this. Not just because I find that this is her debut and I find that my bookstore doesn't always have backlist for a lot of authors and certainly does not have an oversized paperback. I'm not going to show you what this book is yet. And I'm super excited about it. So it's an oversized floppy paperback. So this is Catherine Ryan Howard's debut. This, I don't know if it takes place on a boat or it just revolves around things that had gone wrong on a cruise. So in this one, we have Adam Dunn's girlfriend, Sarah, fails to return from a Barcelona business trip. And his life starts to fall apart. So a few days later, he winds up getting her passport and a letter in the mail. And the letter reads, "I'm sorry, S." And he starts to get really worried and he swears he's going to find out what happened to her. So he connects Sarah to a cruise ship called the Celebrate and to a woman, Estelle, who disappeared from the same ship in an eerily similar circumstance almost a year before. So he is going to find out what happened to his girlfriend. You guys know I'm a huge fan of I was going to say of Sarah Jessica Parker. It's that name in my head. I'm a huge fan of Catherine Ryan Howard. She definitely loves a dark and twisty book. She always has some great characters. I very compulsively read her books, so I'm really excited for this one. So, picked that up. Love it when you get something you weren't even planning on. Onto something I was planning on. Okay, this is another pre-order of mine. I've already read this, and it's If We Were Villains by M.L. Rio. So Barnes & Noble did their own special edition of it. It's a paperback. It's got the painted edges. I keep just making sure I'm like in frame over here. So, and it's kind of just like got like some nice gold stars on the cover. So this is one of my favorite books. I need to reread it. I've only read it once. I'm a little bit embarrassed to say. I don't know why I should be embarrassed, but I have, here we go, the original paperback that I read here. And then I have the UK special edition somewhere. Not here. And then this is the US special edition. So yes, I am both a reader and a collector, and I'm super excited about this. So it's just pretty, and I just wanted to have it for my collection, and there is just no other explanation needed. So yay, fun for that. Okay, let me show you the small paperback I was holding up before. This is The Slumber Party by Shannon Hollinger. So I had this on my radar for a little bit. It says, one of us died, one of us is a killer. I actually picked this up on Independent Bookstore Day, so it poured like cats and dogs on Indie Bookstore Day. So I was not able to go out, but thank goodness for the internet. So I got this from bookshop.org, and I got it from Brookline Booksmith, which is a bookstore right outside of Boston that I used to live a hop, skip, and a jump away from, and it's one of my all-time favorite bookstores, so I was very excited to pick this one up. So the back of this says, my hands tremble as I unfurl the handwritten note. I'm back. Did you miss me? It says. A wave of dizziness crashes over me. My best friend can't be back. I know that because she's dead. So this definitely, just like that little blurb alone, reminds me of Pretty Little Liars, which you guys know that I love. This is not actually a YA book, as far as I know. So we do have some dual timelines in this. So we have 1995 and then we have 2014. And it says, we always swore nothing could break us, the friends who had each other's backs no matter what. We were everything to each other until we weren't, until the night of a party when one of us died and one of us became a killer. So it sounds like we have a group of friends. This is set in a small Massachusetts town. And it says, but it seems the past has a way of holding on to us, drawing us together again. Because I've received a note. I'm coming home, it says, and I can't wait to see you. But she can't come home. She's dead. And we've been hiding the killer ever since. So I do love a dual timeline book. I do love a dark and messed up female friendship book. I, again, love me some Pretty Little Liars. So I just think this is going to be great fun. And I also love the cover of this one too. So picked that up. And then I have two books by Charlie Donnelly, which I haven't read either of them. I haven't read anything by him. The first one is Don't Believe Me. This is 1000% due to Gare and Kate from the Spilling the Tea podcast, because they had talked about him. So this one says, The Girl of Sugar Beach is the most watched documentary in television history. A riveting true life mystery that unfolds over 12 weeks and centers on a fascinating question. Did Grace Siebold murder her boyfriend Julian while on spring vacation, or is she a victim of circumstance and poor police work? Grace has spent the last 10 years in a St. Lucian prison and reaches out to filmmaker Sydney Ryan in a last desperate attempt to prove her innocence. So Sydney starts to research the case and starts to uncover some startling evidence overlooked during the original investigation. Before the series can even finish filming, public outcry leads officials to reopen the case. Delving into Grace's past, Sydney peels away layer after layer of deception. But as she edges closer to the real heart of the story, Sydney must decide if finding the truth is worth risking her newfound fame, her career, and even her life. So I do love a true crime element to a book. I've heard just such tremendous things about this book, and I always have a very hard time deciding like where to start with a new author. But like I said, Gare and Kate really said great things about him. I have another book. I'm just trying to look in the stack for it without knocking over the entire stack in the process. So the other one I picked up is called The Girl Who Was Taken. And I picked this up. It's not a word. I picked this up from Thriftbooks. It has a very shiny cover, so I'm sorry about that. And this one, it says, Nicole Cuddy and Megan McDonald are both high school seniors in the small town of Emerson Bay, North Carolina. When they disappear from a beach party one warm summer night, police launch a massive search. No clues are found and hope is almost lost until Megan miraculously surfaces after escaping from a bunker deep in the woods. So she winds up writing a book. It becomes a bestseller. She's an instant celebrity. But obviously the problem is still that her friend Nicole, who she disappeared with, is still missing. So Nicole's older sister Libya, a fellow in forensic pathology, expects that one day soon Nicole's body will be found and it will be up to someone like Livia to analyze the evidence and determine her sister's fate. Instead, the first clue to Nicole's disappearance comes from another body that shows up in Livia's morgue, that of a young man connected to Nicole's past. So Livia reaches out to Megan for help, hoping to learn more about the night they were taken. Other girls have gone missing too, and Livia is increasingly certain cases are connected. So I am not sure where this one goes. I don't want to know where it goes until I read it, obviously. But again, I've just heard such great things about him, and I'm excited to give him a go. So I couldn't decide, so I got them both. Next up, I have Tell Me What Happened by Chelsea Sidoti. So this was one of my most anticipated books. This is a YA thriller, or I talked about it in my most anticipated video. So this one is all mixed media, and it's all police interviews, which I just love that. I love anything that is like a different way of storytelling. So it says there are stories about the woods around Salvation Creek and the people who have gone missing there. Now their friend is one of them. So we have a group of friends who went to Salvation Creek, where apparently it sounds like they shouldn't have gone. The 5 of them would go make s'mores, steal kisses, and share secrets. But sometime around midnight, she vanished. Now the 4 friends who came back are under suspicion, and they each have a very different story to tell about what happened in the woods. So it's all done, like I said, through first-person police interviews, and it's a YA mystery that asks what really happened that night. So I haven't heard too many people talking about this book, and I'm really curious about it. So I need to read it and then talk about it. So that's what this one's all about. There's an element of this that reminds me of Rules of Vanishing by Kate Alice Marshall, where in that one we get some police interview. We also get like what's happening in real time, and like there's a whole bunch of stuff happening in there, but it's reminiscent of that to me. So I'm excited for it. Okay, the next book I have, if you guys saw my One and Not Done video where I talked about a whole bunch of authors where I have read one book by them, but I would like to read more, need to read more, I am not done with them, then you would have gotten a sneak peek that I picked up Alexandra Bracken's new book, Silver in the Bone. So this is very outside of my comfort zone, but I read Lore a couple years ago and I loved it. And I have high hopes, but I don't want to I don't want to overset my expectations. But high hopes that this is going to be an outside of my box book that I wind up loving as well. So it says, break the curse before it breaks you. So this is young adult fantasy, and I had heard about it and I was kind of like, oh, that sounds cool, like maybe someday. And then I found out that it was set in Boston, and I was like, well, all right, I'm going to go pick it up. So it says there are 3 magics to be feared: curses born of the wrath of gods, poisons that turn soil to ash, and that which leaves one dark of heart and silver in the bone. So this is so far outside my comfort zone, you guys, but I'm such a huge fan of Alexandra Bracken as a writer. I follow her content online. She's such an inspiring writer. She would do Monday motivation posts, and I just think she's actually like absolutely spectacular. I've listened to so many interviews with her. This is the special edition Barnes & Noble book. I showed it in that video too, but in case you missed it, like look at these end papers. They're so gorgeous. They're just so gorgeous. So not my wheelhouse by any stretch, but I'm very curious about it. So I want to push myself. And also tell me it's set in Boston, and basically I'm buying your book. So there you go. Okay, let's dive into some gifted books. So the first one I have is Before We Were Innocent by Ella Berman. This was gifted to me by Berkeley. I am part of the Berkeley Partnership Program, Berkeley Partner Program. So I was very excited to get this book. I talked about this also in a most anticipated video. So it says, the truth depends on who you ask. Ugh, I just love it. I love it. A summer in Greece for 3 best friends ends in the unthinkable when only 2 return home. Have you guys established my pattern of books that I love to read? Come on, where are you, Slumber Party? Just female friendships and then somebody goes missing. Come on, I love it. I love it. 10 years ago, after a sun-soaked summer spent in Greece, best friends Bess and Joni were cleared of having anything in their friend Evangeline's death. Cleared of having any involvement, how about that, in their friend Evangeline's death. But that didn't stop the media from ripping apart their teenage lives like vultures. Okay, I need to slow down a minute. So the girls were never convicted. Joni, ever the opportunist, capitalized on her newfound infamy to become a motivational speaker, and Bess has resolved to make her life as small and controlled as possible. She doesn't want to risk losing everything all over again. But now Joni, who has chosen the spotlight, is tangled up in a crime eerily similar to that one fateful night in Greece. And when she asks Bess to come back to LA to support her, Bess has a decision to make. So do they have to face up to what happened? What went down between the two of them? What's been going on since this happened? So I have timelines of 2018, trying to look without looking. I just see a lot of 2018 and 2008. Remember like 30 seconds ago when I said 10 years ago? How could I not do that math? So dual timelines, here we go. And then in a coincidentally very similar, not really, set in Greece book, I have The Girls of Summer by Katie Bishop. So this arc was sent to me by St. Martin's, which I am super excited about as well. Total vacation book. And in this one, we're in the Greek Isles. So we have a girl named Rachel, and it says she's been in love with Alistair for 15 years, even though she's now married to somebody else, even though she was a teenager when they met, and even though he is 20 years older than she is. So now she's in her 30s, and she is obsessed with reliving the events of that long ago summer in Greece. But when dark and deeply suppressed secrets about Alistair rise to the surface, Rachel is forced to reconsider the story she's been telling herself about their relationship. So the tagline on this is, what if everything you remember is a lie? This is a debut novel, so this comes out in June. This will be in my June most anticipated, which you may or may not have seen by now. I filmed it, but if it's up, I will link it. If it's not up, just know it's coming, but I'm excited for this. Again, like you guys know, I'm definitely a mood reader. I don't really plan certain books for certain times per se, but earlier this year I read, like New Year's Day, The Last Party by Claire McIntosh, which opens on New Year's Day, and I wanted to start it on New Year's Day. So I'm kind of feeling like beachy summery vibes in the summer. Like I feel like I want to mood read, but seasonally read a little bit. So stay tuned for that. But I'm excited to get lost. I've never been to Greece, but I'm excited to get lost in these books that are set in Greece. Okay, another book that was gifted to me, another new release, The Daydreams by Laura Hankin. So I also talked about this in my most anticipated. This is also a Berkeley book, and I am super jazzed about this. So I'm just so excited, so excited. So this is about the stars of a popular teen show from the early 2000s and the reunion special 13 years later after their scandalous flameout that will either be their last chance at redemption or destroy them all for good. So this book is about the stars of a popular teen show from the early 2000s and the reunion special 13 years after their scandalous flameout that will either be their last chance at redemption or destroy them all for good. So back in 2004, The Daydreams had it all. A cast of innocent-seeming teenagers acting and singing their hearts out, amazing ratings, and a will they or won't they romance that steamed up fan fiction forums. Then, during the live season 2 finale, it all imploded, leaving everyone scrambling to understand why. So, kind of sounds like the Disney, like Mickey Mouse Club show with some Daisy Jones and the Six, What Happened, and I'm super curious about this. So just doing a quick look through, it looks like we have just like straight up chapters, then we have excerpts from someone's journal. I saw some fan fiction inserts, so we're getting like Vanity Fair articles. There's all sorts of mixed media in this, and I'm just really curious about it. So we have these people coming back together again after going down completely different paths, and the fans are demanding a reunion special. So it says the stars all have private motives to come back: forgiveness, revenge, a second chance with a first love. But as they tentatively rediscover the magic of the original show, old secrets threaten to resurface, including the real reason behind their downfall. I'm excited. I am excited. Okay. I went to Pango Books. I picked up The Golden Spoon by Jessa Maxwell. Ooh, I'm dropping the insert from it. So I was eyeing this book for a long time. This, I feel like, really caught fast buzz when people were getting arcs of it, and it instantly became something I was interested in. So I've seen it pitched as Great British Bake Off meets Clue. I've seen it pitched as like vibes like Only Murders in the Building, and I do love a cozy. I do love Murder, She Wrote. This just was kind of scratching, that doesn't make any sense. this caught my attention. So anyway, long story short, I hadn't picked it up. I'd been eyeing it. I'd been thinking about it. And my good friend Lindsay from Lindsay's Little Library told me that she snagged a copy of Pango. So I started to just stalk Pango books basically on the regular to see if a copy popped up, and it did, and I got it, and I'm excited. So no, I haven't read it yet, but in all fairness, as of the time I'm filming this came on Friday. It is Sunday, and as previously mentioned, I'm in here. So we're gonna get to this book. But we have When Someone Turns Up Dead on the set of TV's hottest baking competition. The contestants must band together in search of a killer before one of them becomes the next elimination. So we are set in Vermont Love, and it is a debut novel. So we are following a celebrated baker, Betsy Martin. She is the host of the show. Somebody winds up dead on the set of her show, and I don't want to know anything else. I've heard nothing but amazing things from everyone who's read it though. So very excited for that. And then, sorry, these are like in absolutely no order. I also pre-ordered The Boyfriend Candidate by Ashley Winstead. This also showed up the other day. It's just like, it's been a good stretch for book mail. So you guys know I'm a diehard Ashley Winstead fan. She could write anything and I'm going to read it. This is a companion novel to Fool Me Once, which was her debut rom-com, which came out last year. I feel like this might be a little bit obvious that this is in her rom-com canon, not her thriller one. So in this one, we are following Alexis Stone. So Alexis is the younger sister of Lee Stone, who was the main character of Fool Me Once. I haven't read it yet because, again, it just came the other day. And as previously mentioned, also still slowly reading and gobbling up audiobooks. But like, this is a book I want to physically read. This is a book I want to physically read. So do not want to hit myself in the face. So I'm going to get there. So in this one, like I said, we're following Alexis. So she is a shy school librarian, keeping herself out of the spotlight, and she gets dumped for being too meek in bed, and she decides she needs to change. So she decides to kickstart her new, more adventurous life with her first ever one-night stand. So she goes to a hotel bar and she meets what I am hearing is a delicious book boyfriend. She meets Logan Arthur, and he is just all the things and then some. And while they are at the hotel, there's like a fire at the hotel because there's a freak lightning storm which causes the fire. So they wind up having to evacuate, and with all cameras and such outside, they manage to catch Logan carrying Alexis out of the hotel. This gives me a lot of Take a Hint, Danny Brown vibes from Talia Hibbert. So sort of that very similar press catching them, catching some wind, catching some celebrity for these two people. So Logan winds up fleeing the cameras promptly. Alexis doesn't understand why, but then she finds out that Logan is none other than Logan Arthur, the hotshot candidate challenging the Texas governor's seat. So the salacious scandal could sink his career. It could also very much sink hers because she is a school librarian and the last thing she needs is any kind of scandal. And they decide to fake date for 2 months, which is when the election is. What could possibly go wrong? I am hoping all sorts of stuff goes wrong and right and everything in between. Fool Me Once was super funny. It was definitely heartfelt. There were some weightier moments to it. There was some definite salacious moments to it. It had me cracking up from page 1. So I'm really excited to read this book. I don't know if Lee is going to pop up in this one. I imagine she will. And we'll just see what happens. But I'm very excited for this. Me, Ashley Winstead, like forever. Forever. Okay, another book that I was very lucky to be gifted. This is also from Berkeley. You guys are seeing a pattern here. This is How I'll Kill You by Ren DiStefano. So you would have heard me talk about this as a most anticipated book as well. I'm super excited for this one. I haven't read it yet. I know my track record in this book haul is not great. So this is Make Him Want You, Make Him Love You, Make Him Dead. So we have 3 sisters who are serial killers, and they make their way through the US. So the youngest sister, Sissy, has never actually committed one of the crimes, but she has helped her sisters get away with them. So basically they have a nasty habit of finding boyfriends and then killing them. So Sissy is being forced by her sisters to find her first target. So they are in Arizona and she meets a young widower named Edison, and their mutual attraction is instant. So it says, while their relationship progresses and most couples would be thinking about picking out china patterns or moving in together, Sissy's family is reminding her to think about picking out burial sites and moving on. So the question in this one is, what happens when Sissy falls in love with her target and doesn't want to do him harm? And what is that going to mean for her? And what are her sisters going to do? So this is another book that I've heard nothing but great things about by people who have read it. So I'm very excited to read this one too. So excited. This is like an embarrassment of riches. So speaking of, if you guys saw the When I'm Not Done video, then I partnered with Book of the Month in that video and was very lucky to get 2 books as part of my partnership with Book of the Month. So I got The True Love Experiment by Christina Lauren, and then I got Yours Truly by Abby Jimenez. And this is a companion novel to Part of Your World, which I read last year. Needed a beat there. Now, I believe this is a companion novel to The Soulmate Equation. Don't quote me on that because I haven't read that, but I feel like I read that online, so it must be true. Let me know. But I read Love in Other Words years ago, and I just absolutely loved it. So in this one, we have a romance novelist and a documentary filmmaker join forces to craft the perfect Hollywood love story, but only if they can keep the chemistry between them from taking the whole thing off script. I love a book about a writer. You guys know that. I just am very excited to read some more Christina Lauren, and I thoroughly enjoyed Part of Your World, so I know I'm going to enjoy this one too. Thank you, Book of the Month. Super excited for those. And then in the home stretch here, we're in the home stretch. I'm making a mess of things. Another book that Berkeley gifted to me, this is Fifth Avenue Glamour Girl by Renee Rosen. So I want to say this is the paperback release of this book, and in this one it is 1938, and a young woman selling face cream out of a New York City beauty parlor is determined to prove she can have it all. Her name is Estee Lauder, and she's about to take the world by storm. So this is a novel. It's not a nonfiction book. It's a novel. So it says, in New York City, you can disappear into the crowd. At least that's what Gloria Downing desperately hopes as she tries to reinvent herself after a devastating family scandal. She's ready for a total life makeover and a friend she can lean on, and into her path walks a young, idealistic woman named Estee. Their chance encounter will change Gloria's life forever. So Estee dreams of success and becoming a household name like Elizabeth Arden, Helena Rubinstein, and Revlon. And before Gloria knows it, she is swept up in her new friend's mission. And while Estee rolls up her sleeves, Gloria begins to discover her own talents. So she lands a job at Saks Fifth Avenue. Gloria finds her voice, which proves instrumental in opening doors for Estee's insatiable ambitions. So we have 2 women who are living in a world that is not accustomed to women having power. They'll each have to pay the price that comes with daring to live life on their own terms and refusing to back down. So again, I love a story about female friendship. This sounds like just a wonderful story about females supporting each other and friends supporting each other. I love a New York City book. Historical fiction is not my jam, you guys know that, but I was so intrigued when I saw this book and I requested it. So I'm excited about it, and I'll find out. And I mean, Estee Lauder, come on, love me some makeup. Okay, and then the last book is A Death at the Party by Amy Stewart. So the cover is what originally grabbed my eye when I stumbled upon this online, and I don't even know how I stumbled upon this online, but I did, and I had to have it. So this takes place over the course of like one day. So we have a woman who's preparing for a party that goes dreadfully wrong. Yes! Nadine Walsh's summer garden party is in full swing. The neighbors all have cocktails, the catered food is exquisite, everything's going according to plan. But Nadine, devoted wife, loving mother, and doting daughter, finds herself standing over a dead body in her basement while her guests clink glasses upstairs. What happened? How did it come to this? So then we rewind to that morning in her kitchen, and I don't know if we get dual timelines or if we just like, somebody's dead, and then we rewind and lead up to it, but I'm excited for it. I love the concept of just a book that takes place over the course of a day, and that there's a full-blown party happening at her house and there's a dead body in her basement. Yes. Yes, 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 yes. So I had to have it. And when I read it, I will tell you guys all about it. Very excited. So that's going to do it for the book haul. I am excited for so many of these books. I am knocking stuff over like a complete spaz as usual. But this is like where the struggle sits in. I don't know what I want to read next. I need to finish what I'm reading for the 15th time. Guess what I'm reading? Jamie Lynn Hendricks. So we'll see what I read, and when I do, I will tell you guys all about it. But let me know. Have you picked up anything lately? Has anything caught your eye? What are you reading? What are you looking forward to reading? Have you read any of these? Would you recommend I focus on anyone in particular? You know how this works. I just knocked a book over. Okay. Thank you guys so much for being here, for hanging out, for watching, for just being a part of it. And I will see you guys in another video really soon. So until then, take care, everybody. Bye.